Happy birthday, Brynne Bennett. What does a fox say? Dun, 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 dun. Hi guys, welcome back to another week of Book Confessions with me, Megan. This week we're going to be going over the Naked series by Raine Miller. Oh my god, it's so hot. Whose idea was it to put on a long sleeve shirt? Let me start off by saying this book series is amazing. It starts off with Naked. I actually found this book in the After 50 Shades series, which is where I find myself a lot of the time. Naked introduces us into two main characters. And for the first time ever, the main character isn't really a billionaire and he doesn't own some fancy company, and there's not one of these immediately see each other attractions, which is incredibly refreshing throughout this series. And this book takes place in none other than London. I am horrible with some accents. Main character, Ethan, is head of security, and he's this really badass karate chopping dude in my mind, but in reality he's probably more like a James Bond suave debonair type. He's ex-special forces and he served in the Afghan war. Now Ethan is a really stone cold man. He doesn't show his emotions, doesn't really fall in love. He knows he's attractive, so he doesn't like being used by girls, so he's not one of these womanizing type men, which is also really refreshing when most of these men know that they're really attractive. We find out later in the book series that he slept with a lot of girls. And he's not saying he hasn't slept with a lot of girls, he's just saying he's not dumb enough to fall in love. Then we meet Brynne. Brynne is our lead dame in this book. Brynne is an American girl from Texas, and she's there to study art for grad school. And to help pay for grad school, she's also a model, and she does nudie photos like the one on the cover. We know at the very beginning of the book she's in some type of a trouble because the book opens up with Ethan getting an email from someone asking to watch his daughter. We know right away it's the dad back in the USA. Ethan, on the other hand, is working really hard because he's head of security for the Olympics. So the Olympics are in London and he's the head of making sure everything goes off without a hitch, and he doesn't really have time to take care of a special person. However, when the dad sends a photo of what Brynne looks like, there's this immediate kind of attraction and he just wants to take care of this American girl. So this whole entire, ooh, that's fast. There we go. The whole first book is pretty much narrowing down what is going on between Brynne and what is going on between Ethan. There's a lot of, you need to learn to trust one another because we know something's going on between the two, but we don't really know what it is. Now, being honest, the first book didn't captivate me until the very last chapter. Throughout the entire book, I kept thinking, oh, I'm not going to continue this series. And if you're wondering what that is, here in Florida, we are actually under a flash flood warning. So let's get back to it. So I kept finding myself wondering if I was going to continue the series. And then I read the last chapter and I just had to go and buy the second one. I needed to know what happened between Brynne and Ethan. Then we get to book 2. All in. This book captivated me from page 1. And why is that when there are so many books that I swear captivates me? The first time ever, we get the story from the man's point of view, which is so refreshing in all of these series. In fact, it opens up with Ethan telling his story. And the book is actually like 95% Ethan, which is wonderful. We know what's going through his head. We get the male dialogue instead of the girl, oh, I love him. We get like the hardcore, this is what I have to do, this is where I messed up, and it really captivated me. So they go on this journey, they find one another, they work out some episodes that they're having, but then we realize really quick, Brynne is in some serious trouble. Somebody is after her because she has made a horrible mistake when she was 13 and was known to sleep around a little bit, and it has come back to get a hold of her. Now I can't give you all the details on that because it's so captivating as a story, I don't want to spoil that from you. No doubt in my mind, Raine Miller is an excellent writer when it comes to this, because for the first time it's not something that I knew was coming. In most of these series, I can pretty much pinpoint exactly what is going to happen. However, I did not see that coming. So when we realize Brynne is in a lot of danger, there's only one thing Ethan can think of to try to throw off the tracks of people who are coming after her. Once again, I ran out on my lunch break and bought Eyes Wide Open because it switches from Brynne to Ethan's point of view. So it's not a book where it's just solely one or the other, it's maybe 1 second goes by and they switch and they retell the exact same story but from the other perspective, and it's again so incredibly refreshing to have that in a book. I can't really tell you everything that happens in this book, but I can promise you I was left with so many questions. Like, I did not see this coming, although a few of you tweeted me and said that you kind of expected, and I did not. I did not see this coming at all. So what did I do being nosy Megan? I get on my laptop, then I get on my iPad, then I get on my cell phone, and I start blowing up Raine Miller's Twitter. And praise Jesus, she heard my prayers because she not only followed me back, she also asked me what is it that I needed to know. I just could not go to sleep not knowing if there was going to be a 4th book because I had too many questions. She tweets us back and lets us know that there is indeed going to be a 4th book, which excites me so incredibly much, as it should excite you. And I didn't even have to go into Google and search this because immediately as it hit my Twittersphere, a lot of you answered my question right away with a tweet and did all the research for me. If you have not read the series, this cover is going to give away a few things. So cover your eyes or look away or whatever it is you need to do, because for those who've read, I would like to present to you book 4. This is Rare and Precious Things by Raine Miller. I know that this book is going to be just as well written. I am almost hoping it's coming from Ethan's point of view again because I loved his dialogue. A great series. I give it 5 stars, and if Raine Miller is watching this, I noticed there were a few book blogs that were in the beginning of Eyes Wide Open and a few people that I'm personally pretty good friends with. And if you want somebody to put this in your book, you contact me, Miss Raine Miller, because we are now friends on Twitter and there's no excuse in not letting me tell you how awesome you are in the cover of book 4. Which brings me to this week's question. If you read the series, who was your Ethan Blackstone? And a lot of you tweeted me your photos. However, my personal Ethan is none other than Gerard Butler. So as we finish these 3 amazing books and put them on our bookshelf, it's time to pick up next week's book, which is none other than Kingdom's Keepers by Bradley Pearson. I was so excited to read this book. If you followed along with me, I actually finished it yesterday, and I'm going to be reviewing it next week, and I've got some really crazy cool fun things for next week because it's Disney and Halloween. You put those 2 clues together on what's going to be happening next week, and I will see y'all then. Copper the Fox and Charlie Tango says holla! See you guys.